What's going on in Psalms? Atpt coming at you live again, episode number 13. Unfortunately, yesterday I didn't do an episode. Ran into some trouble here at home. Won't happen again. It was nonsensical, like most trouble and issues and problems at home. I have way too much hair. So, first night coming at you live from the laptop. You can see the tripod I was doing my casts from before, holding my cell phone. And tonight, I wanted to try using the laptop so that way I could try seeing how it works with getting other people in here. And I do not know how I would invite other people from this point, but trying to see if I can get other people to get on tonight. So we shall see. We shall see. A lot of things have happened in the past few days. Passing of Anthony Bourdain, kind of the most major thing in the celebrity world anyway. In the political world, it's the whole G7 summit and all that nonsense. Excuse me. And yeah, I didn't do too much this weekend. We were watching my wife's coworker's dog, so not much we could do. Get the fuck out of here, dog. Get. This is no Einstein zone. Yeah, so, I really want to apologize. All I kept thinking about yesterday was me wanting to come over here and get on and do the broadcast, but even if I would have come on, it wouldn't have been very pretty. I was in a bad mood, would have said some ugly things. And I'm never going to go back and delete one of these videos, so whenever they're up, they're up. And so, yeah, gotta watch out with what I say in general, because I'm also probably never going to go back and watch these things myself, see what I said. Yeah, so with all that being said, one thing I don't like about this is, if I can minimize this, what happens. Oh, okay, that's how I add another person. See if I can watch it live on air. Yeah, I can. I don't want that going on though, because it's gonna echo. So yeah, just oh look, it's a viewer, and it's gonna disappear because it was me who accidentally started viewing. I felt special for a second. Yeah, one thing I wanted to start talking about is guns, because of course that's a hot topic these days with all the school shootings we've been having and all the nonsense. FBI agent doing back handsprings on the dance floor and his gun falling out his pants and shooting people up with it after he's trying to grab it. Lots of crazy stuff going on. And tomorrow, I'm sorry, I'll do a better job at elevating this platform for y'all's viewing pleasure. I guess I could bring it down more. I don't need to be seeing all that up there. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, it's not bad at all. I don't got to look nothing. So, as I was saying, guns. All right. I'll give you a little backstory about myself. I have been around guns my entire life. I mean, those are some of my earliest memories, is guns being in the picture. I think like my first few birthdays, first birthday, second birthday, third birthday, my dad made me a camouflage themed birthday party. And, like I said, my dad was an addict. So gun safety, well, securing the guns was never really on his mind. Gun safety was always on his mind. He always drilled it into me how dangerous they were, how they're not toys, how you never pointed at anything you don't intend on shooting, all the fundamental gun safety stuff. He drilled it into me from an early age. And it stuck. And thankfully it did, because had it not, I might not be here. Because literally the guns were never, and I'm pretty sure that was the case for most families in the 80s, right? I mean, late 80s, early 90s. Guns were never secure. My dad thought securing the gun was hiding it behind the bathroom shower curtain that we never used or something. There was something in the restroom that he used to hide it behind, I remember. And yeah, I mean, I remember going and moving the curtain and looking at it and just being like, "Dang, look at that beast. You know, it's so cool." But I never touched it, because that was another thing he always told me: you don't ever touch these things without me being there. And maybe, you know, now that I reflect, it was very dangerous to have all this gun like that, especially with them loaded. I don't think he ever had a round, because really the only gun I had readily, what's the only gun that was readily available for me to be able to grab was the Remington 700. It's a pretty big bolt action gun. And never had a round in the chamber. It was always a bolt override, where you just slide the bolt over the rounds in the internal magazine. So yeah, you just grow up, gun safety, and my point I want to just talk about all this gun stuff is I consider myself a subject matter expert when it comes to guns. I've been around them my whole life. I joined the military, and that was my job, was to know how to use and employ various types of weaponry. I got a true blue EIB, which means I was able to do all my tasks. Just a real quick, the true blue EIB is the expert infantry badge, and that's just basically like 50 tests that they put infantrymen through to try to get them to earn their little badge. And it's just anything from like knowing how to use thermal optics to sending a 9-line medevac, which is to help get casualties out. Land navigation, throwing hand grenades, which gets a lot of people because you got to make it in a little bunker or like a little trench. And doing it true blue, because the way it works is if you do the test, fail it the first time, they give you another go. And if you fail the same one twice, you're done. But you can get up to 3 no-goes. You can fail 3 things once, or you can fail basically just one thing once. Because the second time you fail, you're no-go and you're done. And the true blue EIB is for soldiers who did everything, got to go, first time go at all the stations. So we didn't fuck up. We didn't have to go redo. And the hardest thing to do, I think, out of all that, other than the hand grenades, is correcting a malfunction on the weapon. You have to employ sports, which is slap, you slap the mag, pull, you pull the charging handle, observe, you look in there to see what the fuck's going on, release, you release the charging handle, tap to forward assist, and squeeze, and bang, squeeze that trigger. So you got to be able to do all that in like pretty quick, in a handful of seconds. As you know, you're in combat. They're trying to train you for combat, so they don't want you there for 30 seconds to a minute, like trying to slowly figure out what's wrong with your gun. You got like 10, 15 seconds to do this shit at most. So that was another doozy. But anyways, my whole point about this is just to say that I'm as competent as they come when it comes to the safety of firearms. I'm not saying I know everything about guns. I don't know that much about the different types, not types as in like I guess the different models. All right, I know about the revolvers, semi-auto pistols, lever action, brake action, pump action. So yeah, that's kind of stuff I know about. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a subject matter expert in that kind of stuff, but what I am and what most people should be or strive to be is a subject matter expert in firearm safety, because that is stupid simple, all right? And another example I can give you that I used to give in my hanging classes was when I was in junior high. I went over to a good friend's house, and we had, we basically all of us had those BB guns, pellet guns, you can pump the hell out of and make them powerful. And as soon as we walked into his room, he grabbed the gun and pointed it right under my chin. And he probably, I think, he even picked my chin up a little bit with it. And just instinctively, boom, swiped it away as fast as I could. And I said, man, don't point that shit at me. You don't know if it's loaded or not. And I was like in sixth, seventh grade at this time. I was already pretty young. I was pretty young, but like I said, my whole life I've had to be more mature than others, because if not, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So he points the BB right under my head like that. I tell him, man, I swiped it away as fast as I could, like probably not even this, definitely not even there for 2 seconds. Less than a second. Boop, wipe it away. And told him, dude, don't fucking point that shit at me. You don't know if it's loaded or not. He's like, no, it's not loaded. Look. Put the barrel of his hand in his palm and pulled the trigger. And it was loaded and ready to go. And he was just like, ah. And at first I thought he was playing like, shut the fuck up. He was like, no, no. It was like blood pouring out of that shit. I was like, wow, man. I just started laughing. Like, that was a very gratifying feeling to know that my whole lifetime of firearm training and safety worked. You always treat guns like they're loaded. It doesn't matter if it's a BB gun. It doesn't matter if it's a paintball gun. If it's got a real metal or something hard, a hard projectile that travels hundreds of feet a second, it's fucking dangerous. You can lose an eye. A friend of mine's daughter lost her life. She got killed by a BB gun because she was so little. It hit her right in the heart. That was it, man. Game over. Tragedies like this are completely avoidable. And another one that is kind of a big pet peeve of mine, that everybody seems to think they're so high speed and can just carry around in the chamber with no repercussions. And I hope and pray that there are no repercussions for people who decide to carry with the round in the chamber, because I don't want anybody getting hurt. But just exercise common sense, guys. If you're going to a party where there's nothing but your friends and you want to carry, one, you shouldn't be drinking. And two, if you carry a round in the chamber, take the round out. You're not going to a dark alley in some random place you've never been. If you are, then keep the round in the chamber. But if you're not, no reason for it. Like that FBI agent, no reason for the round to be in the chamber at that point. If he was going out to do some kind of, surveillance, investigate something, do something other than go to a club to dance and break down on the dance floor, the fucking idiot should have taken a second, or taken a quick piss break, go relieved himself, and then taken that round out of the chamber, so that way his dumb ass wouldn't have accidentally shot anybody. And that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like I said, use your common sense. If you know you're going to a place that's unsafe, rack around in. And if you're going to a place that's not, that is more than likely safe, don't fuck around, don't rack around in. And it takes less than a second. That's all it takes. And the round's in. That's it. Grab, pull back, let go. If you're in a situation to where your life is in that big a risk to where you don't have the extra millisecond to rack that round in the chamber, you're probably in a bad situation as it is. If you think the millisecond between racking that round and not racking that round is the difference between life and death, Sometimes it might be. I'm not saying that it's, not. But, obviously a lot of times it's very rare that you'll have to instantly draw and shoot in the matter of a blink of an eye. And if you have to do that, I can guarantee you that 90+% of the people who conceal carry are just everyday carriers, don't train enough to draw that fast. Which might be an argument of, hey, that's why they should have their round loaded, so that way whenever they spend 15 seconds bumbling through their shirt and whatever the fuck else they got on, they can immediately squeeze rounds down. But if you're already taking that long, and like I said, I don't carry around in the chamber very often. I mean, it's very rare. It's just, it's stupid, guys. It's the stupidest thing you can do. You put everybody's life at risk. That gun can fall and go off. It happens all the time. And you know what doesn't happen all the time? People with concealed handguns that get mugged or shot because they didn't have the round chambered ready to go. I can guarantee you there's less instances of that than there are instances of people accidentally getting shot because the round is in the chamber. So stop it. Enough of that. Don't need it. Unless you think you do. Right? Situation kind of dictates. It's like in the military, right? We had these things, I guess you can call them like SOPs, right? Standard operating procedures. To where, if you're out as fire teams and you're in an open field, right? No cover, very little concealment. An open field, you need to spread the fuck out. You need to be 20, 30 meters between each other because you don't want to be all bunched up in the middle of an open field, right? But if you're going through the rainforest, you need to bring it in, right? You got so many things that can block your line of sight, so many things that can go wrong in an instant, and you got to be able to account for everybody right away. And so, what they used to say is, we have these SOPs, but terrain dictates. Terrain dictates. And in that same manner, the situation should dictate whether you have a round in the chamber or not. It shouldn't just be, oh, I'm a cool guy, I carry a gun, I'm going to have a round in the chamber all the time. And then the people who take the picture like this, oh, look at me, I'm so cool, got my gun. Extend your finger. The biggest safety thing you could ever fucking do is this. It's such a bad habit to have your finger in that trigger well. Finger extended, finger out the trigger well until you're ready to shoot. Like this. I'm ready to get baked. Fire. Boom. Finger back out. And what else can we talk about with guns? All this school shooting stuff, man, it is fucking surreal. It's just surreal to me because it doesn't. I mean, obviously a lot of these people who go and do that stuff aren't right in the head, but even. I mean, I've been to the brink to where I wasn't right in the head when I was overseas in Afghanistan, and it's an ugly place to be. And luckily, somebody was willing to listen to me and save not only me but the others as well. The whole reason I went back, I was stopped from going back to Afghanistan, was when I came back, I told them that if you send me back to Afghanistan, it's going to be bad for me and it's going to be worse for them. because it really was. And they didn't send me back. So everybody kind of got lucky. Um, Another thing that's bothered me about guns lately in the news is that that African American man who was shot like 20 times, unarmed, had cell phone in his hand, back of his grandma's house, and they said he got shot in the back a few times. And there's outrage. There was outrage about that. I don't know how much outrage there is anymore about it because there's been so much more. Like they say these days, it's like a 48-hour news cycle. Outrage lasts at most 2 days, and there's something new to be outraged about. But the outrage was that he got shot in the back a few times. Shot at 20 times, hit, you know, anywhere between 5 and 10 times. I think they said like 7. Einstein! And so I'm going to explain something right now about what I think happened and about how I think he got shot in the back. Generally, you're accustomed to seeing movies, TV shows where dudes get shot up, get riddled by a hail of bullets, and they're just there, just taking the shots, right? Just squared up with the shooter, just taking the shots. That's not reality, guys. That's Hollywood movie shit, right? In reality, you're going to get shot. The velocity of that round, if it doesn't fly through you seamlessly, it's going to shove you and jerk you around drastically. And if you get shot multiple times in one side, there's a good chance you might spin around. Maybe not like a cartoon spin around, but you're going to be, going crazy. You ain't going to be just standing there, slow motion, getting shot up. You're going to be fucked up, and you're going to be moving. Your body's going to be contorting. Shit's going to be crazy. And so I think that's what might have happened. A few rounds might have caught him from his body contorting, and all those officers shooting a hail of bullets from different angles. So the outrage should be about the fact that it happened. There should be no outrage about whether or not he was shot in the back. Because I can promise you, it's on video, right? Nobody shot at him until he went to his back of his grandma's yard, hands up in the air with a cell phone. And yeah, at that point he was lit up. But don't just assume what you hear and what you think is right. And I could be wrong too. Maybe he did get shot. But just from what I know and my experience, I would say that he didn't get shot in the back in the sense that he was running away and they shot him. He got shot in the back in the sense that he was getting riddled with bullets, contorting his body crazy ways, and a few caught him in the back as he was going towards the ground. And this whole we need to ban ARs, high capacity magazines. Those things are, it's hard to argue for them or against them, really. A 30-round mag, in general, you really don't need that many rounds. Every day, a 15-round mag would probably be more than enough, right? It's fun to go crazy with 30 rounds, target practicing, or just going buck with it, but it's impractical, right? You're just pissing money and wasting rounds. You're not being accurate if you're dumping rounds like that. And if you're trying to be accurate and put a few rounds down range, you don't care about having 15 rounds. That's more than enough. And at the same time, I love having 30-round mags because I know if I ever need the extra ammo, it's there without having to reload. I don't have any real high capacity mags. I have one for my pistol. I have a 25-round mag for my pistol, which normally takes 13 or 14. So it doubles the capacity. It would be the equivalent of me having a 16-round magazine for my rifle. And I've used it a handful of times. You know, it's more of a, what's the word, novelty item. And yeah, like I said, you know, there's some of those things you can do, and some of those things are, you know, you can deal with, and some that you can't. And I'd say having a 30 round magazine is something you can do without. But like I said, at the same time, it's nice to have those extra rounds in case. You never know what's going to happen. The less you reload, the better chances you have of surviving your encounter. Well, I don't know how long this thing's been running for tonight. I apparently, whenever I do these things on YouTube, I should keep a timer and keep track because there's nothing showing me more or less what time I started this thing. So it seems like it should be pretty straightforward. Me adding somebody on here. I think anybody hit me up on Messenger. Like it's really short notice. Yeah, nobody hit me up on Messenger. But yeah. Um, People are crazy, man. So I'm definitely getting a haircut this week, guys. That shit is getting too crazy for me. February, March, April, February, basically all day February, March, April, May, June. 5 months that I had a haircut. And before that, it was probably 5 months since I had one before then, too. So, yeah, definitely getting this wig cut this week. I sent an email to a woman who writes articles for the Army Times because she wrote articles about water quality on the bases. And it was really crazy because I had just sent a message to a buddy who's in Kuwait that I served with about water quality issues. And I'm working now to expose something that should have been exposed a long time ago. And I'm going to use that as a platform to expose Fifth Brigade. That's my plans. It probably going to take me longer than I want it to take me because of that whole getting water samples from overseas isn't going to be an easy task. Um, but yeah, so keep fighting on, everybody. You don't ever let people walk all over you, right? You always step up and fight because you got to let people know that at some point people are going to stand up, and that's how people kind of get abused, used. It becomes habitual because people don't stand up for themselves. People don't speak up. So speak up, speak out, and always raise your voice to multiple people, to as many people as you can, because more than likely, just one person alone is never going to be enough. They're probably going to either be incompetent or not care or just not know what to do. And not knowing what to do is not being the same as being incompetent by any stretch of the imagination. But I wanted to stay up on this one late. but it'll be easier to hop on tomorrow earlier and probably with the guest. First guest tomorrow, Atpt episode 14. I've been forgetting to say at the end of these videos, like, share, subscribe, and yeah. Not that I care if you do any of those things. That's why I've never said it before, but I guess that's kind of the YouTuber thing to do, right? Hey, if you like my video, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that share button. Fuck all that. Watch my videos, don't watch them. I don't give two shits. Peace easy, in sums. Catch you tomorrow.